Hello everyone, this is Space Marine with the first update for the tropics of the Atlantic hurricane season. And right now it's actually May 30th, towards midnight. And hurricane season is one day, and it's actually happening right on time. There's a tropical cyclone potential situation going on. Essentially, it's actually starting over here. You see this disorganized mass of clouds stretching across the Caribbean. Like, just for reference, this is the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico. And here's actually Hurricane Agatha. We did a video yesterday about that, and that's a serious hurricane that's impacting the Pacific coast of Mexico right now. And it's actually starting to weaken because it made landfall many hours ago. But anyway, so there's Hurricane Agatha over here, and then there's this big mass of clouds kind of gyrating over the Yucatan Peninsula, over the Western Caribbean, and here's Florida, where I am, South Florida. And anyways, the models have been hinting for days. So the computer models like the GFS and the ECMWF. So the ECMWF is the European model, the GFS is the American model. They've been hinting for days that there'll be some sort of tropical cyclone situation. And now the National Hurricane Center is taking notice. They've issued the first tropical outlook of the year for a particular disturbance. They say there's a 50% chance of development through 5 days. But in fact, if this really does happen, and this is all questionable, but it's been hinted at for days by models, and now there's stuff showing up on satellite as I just showed you. So yeah, if this really does happen, it's going to be all happening within the next 5 days, very quickly. So it's not like 5 days from now something's going to form. It's like going to be sooner. So first off, let's get to the animation of the forecast model. Alright, so this is the GFS, and this is the latest run. Let me get it to the point where I want to start. Alright, so I guess I'll start at the beginning here. So there's Hurricane Agatha hitting the Pacific coast of Mexico for reference, and disorganized area of rain over, the Central America, Cuba, Florida. And then let's go forward through time. Let's actually go all the way to like 72 hours. Alright, so there we are. This is actually Thursday, June 2nd, somewhere around noon Eastern Time. And there's actually, it's showing a low pressure system forming over the Western Caribbean, and in fact that's very similar to this area we're looking at. So basically the GFS is suggesting that this area of disorganized clouds over the Western Caribbean is going to like tighten up into an actual cyclone over the next 3 days, and it says by Thursday there'll actually be a closed low pressure system. And then let's take the model forward a little bit, and you can see, so there's the system 72 hours, and then it progresses towards Cuba, and it shows it impacting Cuba sometime on Friday. This is Friday around noon, according to GFS. It shows like a tropical depression, or maybe a tropical storm, or who knows exactly what, but some sort of tropical cyclone impacting Cuba on Friday. And then let's take the model forward further. This is Saturday morning. It shows a tropical cyclone, maybe a tropical storm hitting Florida. Of course, everything's very uncertain now, and the models have been all over the place. For example, that's the GFS, but the European model shows a slightly different scenario. So let's take it back. Let's dial it backwards. So yeah, there's where the cyclone is forming, 72 hours, and then it shows it actually popping off into the Gulf of Mexico and then hitting more central Florida. But for now, basically, none of these models are very accurate at this point because it's so early on. In fact, there's no closed low pressure system. Until we have a closed low pressure system with an exact center that's fixed by reconnaissance aircraft, and we can really see it on satellite where it is, the models are going to be going all over the place. But right now, it basically looks like the models are suggesting there's a possibility for development, and whatever does develop will head from, down in the Caribbean up towards the northeast, in the direction of the northeast. I'm not saying the northeast U.S. states, but yeah, it'll go from like the Western Caribbean up towards here, in some sort of cone. And the cone, if you're going to make a cone, it would be like this big right now. It'd be like anywhere from like Jamaica to like, Tallahassee right now or something. And we don't even know if anything's going to form, but it has been suggested for days. I've been actually watching the models for like a week already on this. So the models have been suggesting something's going to happen, and when they suggest something's going to happen like this, and it's been consistent for like a week, there's a pretty good chance something's going to happen. And then we also see, it's starting to take realization here. We have this area of basically disturbed weather in the Western Caribbean already forming. And if the models are right, over the next few days that will get its act together, become some sort of tropical depression or tropical storm, and then scoot off to the northeast and possibly impact Cuba or Florida. But anyways, it's something to watch. It's very interesting, and I'll, of course, continue to update once it gets its act together. For now, the models are probably going to keep going back and forth in this scenario, and like I said, until we actually have a closed circulation of some sort and like a real defined structure on satellite imagery, No one really knows what's going to happen yet, but it's very interesting, and it's also very interesting because hurricane season starts June 1st in about 1 day from now, and it looks like we're going to be having some sort of tropical activity right as hurricane season in the Atlantic starts, which is kind of rare. Usually June is pretty quiet, and at the least, if there is activity in June, it's not usually like anything that could hit the U.S., although it does happen sometimes. It's a bit of a rarity, though. At least from my perspective in South Florida, we rarely ever get anything in June. And we might not get anything in this case, but it's definitely something to, I guess, be monitoring over the next few days. It's nothing serious yet, and I'll continue to post updates as this unfolds. But yeah, we might have the first tropical cyclone of the Atlantic hurricane season, and it could potentially impact Cuba or Florida, or maybe not at all. Alright, so this was Space Marine, and like and subscribe, and I'll continue to post tropical updates as the Atlantic hurricane season unfolds.